pulled me away from it. I don't know if you had that experience.
No, I didn't have that experience. I mean, my general takeaway from listening to the was that he was riding high. He was 100% sure that he had made one of the best movies ever.
Yeah.
And he would have everyone did great.
I will say though, if you're looking to make films, I think Sommers is really good to listen to though, because he talks about all the flying cameras that they set up like an NFL game to never again have the Scorpion King happen to them. I love how they talked about the wetsuits ballooning up in the water when Kate Beckinsale's dress blew up. I like that there was supposed to be a scene on horse, but they didn't have enough time, so he just stood Beckinsale and Hugh Jackman there and filmed them real quick. And it's just, I like how there's a scene where Van Helsing's supposed to knock her out, like punch her, and they're like, wait, our star is knocking a woman out. We can't have that. So then he sprays her. But I think it's a really good, it's like a film school in the commentary, I would say. Do you agree with that?
I do. He's a quick problem solver of stuff that's going on, like in a technical sense. And it sounds like he takes advice from everyone. And I know that sounds maybe a little strange to say because this movie, it feels like everyone said yes to everything. But once the script was ready and he was shooting, I feel like he was taking advice from people on how to make these wacko scenes work.
Yeah, and people suggested something, and be like, yeah, let's do it. And he seems very
yes.
But I do think what I like about him is he thinks, I think why studios liked him, and he hasn't really made too much since then, but he knew when to cut scenes. So never once in this movie didn't go over, which blows my mind. With the amount of wire gags in this movie didn't go over schedule, which they did like one day of reshoots. And for a movie this packed, it seems insane to me. But I think that's due to he had a horse riding scene, but he knew that would take too much time, so he just plopped him on the ground and had him talk. Like, this is a guy who, I don't know, I love his style. And the more I listen to him, the more I listen to Paul Anderson commentaries, Paul W.S. Anderson. I like them more. I love hearing about them. Like, they aren't pretentious enough to be like, my movie should stand on their own. I would buy every Scorsese Blu-ray if he just talked about the Steadicam shots or the blocking. Like, he doesn't have to discuss the meaning. I just want to know about the lighting ideas during Raging Bull, if that makes sense. So,
I get it, yeah.
I love that. I love what they're talking about in this movie. And the little, like, Sommers was talking about the butt scene with Hyde, and he's like, the producer's going to hate this. But then the producer laughed, and it kind of made him more human, I guess, even though it's a weird shot in the movie. But I don't know, man.
Weird shot.
And they're complaining. They were laughing about the wigs in it. Like, they straight up said the wigs were ridiculous. So the more I listen to this movie, the more. Yeah, you know what I'd love to? He had a blank check. He made this movie. Then him and his editor just sat around making fun of it and saying different things. Like, that's, I don't know, man. I dig it. Like, and after this, he went and made G.I. Joe, which made over 300 million worldwide, which is doubly as crazy as this one, I will say.
It's been a long time since I've seen that, but I do remember the running through the city in the power suit scene, and I was like, what is happening?
And for some reason, the ice sinks and blows up the facility, which is bonkers. But it's just, I don't know, man. I love listening to the commentary on this movie. And even though I put it at 5, I like how audacious it is. And I like how different it is compared to any other thing I've probably ever seen, I would say.
Yeah, I completely agree. This is out there. Wacky, bonkers, sometimes incomprehensible. It hits all the quadrants, and that's why I recommend watching it with friends who are into appreciating, I guess, just like weird choices.
Yeah.
like if you sitting around with people who maybe aren't too mean with the movie, like sometimes sitting around with people who just want to make fun of a movie isn't right, but it's like if they're in on the joke and they understand that you're here to have a good time and point out funny things, I think it could be good.
There are movies that are bad and they fall flat, or their message is just insane. Like I don't want. Never mind. I'm not going to bash on it because I hate doing that. But it's this movie. You could watch it and make fun of it, but you watch this, and I guess you could make fun of Stephen Sommers' decisions. But this movie didn't turn out like this by accident. Sommers by this time was a seasoned director. He had made some big hits before this. He had helmed massive films. So every decision that he went with the actors and the Academy Award-winning people he had on this. It's all... So it's kind of hard to make fun of, like, oh, that's stupid. Why would they do that? Well, he purposely did this. Like, I don't know if I could watch this with people that were just blanketly making fun of it. But like you said, if we were just watching it and they're popping like popcorn, or the opera singing of Frankenstein's monster and the swinging of ropes from 3 miles high, like, it's so insane, but I love it. It's, you know what? I might put it ahead of, well, you know, is Dracula Untold fading a little bit from your memory?
Yes, it is.
3 weeks from now, what's your ranking, do you think?
I still think Dracula Untold's going to be higher.
Oh, wow.
Because yeah. I mean, I could get through Dracula Untold pretty easily by myself. Like, while I said it'd be good to watch this with people, it's sometimes hard to get 5 people into a room to watch a 2-hour movie.
Yeah. You could do Dracula. I think friends would have.
Yeah,
I think
I could do
people would have
Dracula
more.
easy.
Yeah, and that movie's so short. That thing flies by. So yeah, I guess. But
it's not. It is. There's not as many memorable scenes though. Like in Dracula, there's like one memorable scene. In this one, there's a lot of just crazy things that I'm like, I can't believe I saw that. That's a arrow machine gun. What is happening?
Where do they fit in there? And I loved when we first get our second introduction to Kate Beckinsale, where she just stands with her legs incredibly wide. Megan's like, why is she standing like that? I'm like, to get the camera through it, of course. But you start with that shot, and then I liked how Sommers said all the decisions she made were just her standing around, like she knows how to work it. But then I liked her story too. They didn't even ask her to be in it because she didn't think she would want to. And then her agent got mad at him for not offering her the role, which makes me laugh. But
yeah, I'll do it.
It's just, okay, at the end of the day, this movie's insane. This is a bonkers movie, but it's coherent. Well, is it? Well, the action's cohesive.
The action's coherent.
Yeah. Okay, there it is. You summed it up perfectly. The action's fun. There's too much of it, but it's much more coherent than the story.
Yeah.
All right, give me the story in 50 words, David.
I literally, I mean, all right, so let me try this.
All right, I'll count.
Van Helsing battles Dracula to save a family's souls from purgatory.
Whoa, that was good. That's 11. Perfect. There it is.
But it also doesn't say anything about the film.
No.
Because really, it's like Dracula teams up with another vampire hunter to save the. I can't.
Yeah, I think you nailed it, though. You summed it up. Wow, you crushed it. So, listen, we could talk about this movie all night, but do you have any other final thoughts about this movie?
No, I don't. I think it segues in really nicely to our next film.
Yeah.
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. They seem to be touching. They're like kissing cousins a little bit.
Oh, for sure. And that's why I don't feel so bad about this chapter ending, because we have one more left. Because, like you said, it's the same spirit. I guess, of these films. And it features all the same characters.
Yeah, except I guess you have Alan Quartermain in it and Dorian Gray, who are... Mm-hmm. I mean, Alan Quartermain, like, do people even know who that is now?
No.
I don't know. Maybe they don't.
I gotta say, though, I think Van Helsing is more fun to talk. I've really enjoyed this episode. I've really enjoyed talking about this movie. So maybe it's better talking about than watching? And I don't... That sounds like an insult. I'm not trying to dig, but I really loved our conversation, just reminiscing about all this. It wasn't nearly as exhausting as watching.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's just, there's so much happening. And so many weird sex scenes. They're not sex scenes, but like pseudo-sex scenes.
Oh, yeah.
Like when Van Helsing and Anna are like rolling around on the dirt, and you're like, is this a shortcut to show they're attractive to each other? Like, didn't she just threaten to kill him not like 3 seconds ago? What is happening?
Oh, yeah. And then the brides in the background just writhing everywhere.
I mean, it had to be fun to be a bride on this set.
Just, they talked about it, too. The actors on the commentary, they said that they loved all the wire work and just being shot around all over the place, and they loved it. Because, well, how often do you get to go this big?
You don't. Like, you never get to go this big in this. I mean, like, the closest to it to now would be Fast and Furious or a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
And they don't make that many choices. Like, now it feels like it'd be a lot more CGI. Like, this movie has a shit ton of CGI. But it doesn't feel the same.
No. But this is fun, man. I'm glad we did this. When I watch this movie, I'm like, we're gonna have a lot to talk about. There's a lot here. And I think that was the biggest problem for me, maybe with Mummy and Dracula Untold. I love those episodes, but there's just so much more meat on Van Helsing's bones here. Oh man,
so much blood in his veins.
So much blood. I have no heart. All right, so well, thank you for joining me, man.
Thank you. This is great.
All right, cool. And also, guys, make sure to head over to the Award Wieners Movie Review podcast. Check that out. They just released a Deer Hunter episode. There'll probably be another one out by the time this is released. But the one thing I always say is you'll learn something from it. It's a lot of fun. They come up with good hot dog recipes. But yeah, you learn about the year that it was made, the other nominees. So they talk about the Best Picture winner, and they come up with a hot dog recipe. But you learn about the other nominees, who was in it, the times, the movie. You'll walk away knowing a lot more about that year. And so if you listen to all of them, you'll be like, oh crap, I know about the best movies of each year and the times and the actors and stuff. So I mean, it's like a film school you can listen to and make food. It's a gourmet educational movie delight. So that's Does that sound about good? That sound about right?
Yeah, that sounds great. It's a celebration of American pop culture and cinematic history. And we're doing The Apartment next. Oh. So strap in.
Can't wait for that. I love that. That production design. All right, cool. Let's get out of here. So for me, Mark Hoffmeyer, and for David Cross, who is still, I mean, those things are still working in the background, man. Jeez Louise, they are working hard.
Yeah. They built half a house at this point.
Hey, can they edit this episode for me?
100%. I'll get them on that.
Oh, perfect.
I mean, they're not great. Okay, let's be honest.
They're gonna cut most of my bits.
They're gonna cut all your bits, leave all of mine in, and it'll be great.
All right, so thanks for joining me. But for Movies, Films, and Flicks, we'll see you next week.